this hourglass, this yellow and black hourglass you've got me looking at.
Oh yeah, sorry.
That's all right. It's a good looking hourglass.
Um,
How much of? Oh, look, I can see me. Look at that. I'm gonna spread out. Look at me. I'm Jesus. Oh. It's my birthday. Oh.
All right.
Jesus.
So
That was a bad one.
I'm just
Were we
gonna.
live for that?
We are live. Yeah,
Oh shit.
we're live. Jesus.
Hello.
I hope my mom isn't watching. She'll hit me with that. Your browser doesn't support the virtual background. A graphics processor of much higher quality is required.
Yeah.
One of these nights.
One of these nights.
Does it say much higher? Much higher. Yeah.
A graphics processor is required. If your device has a GPU, then it's possible your browser is preventing StreamYard from accessing.
Oh no, this computer
I don't know.
couldn't even lick my nuts.
You know, for some reason, I always end up wearing this sweater on podcast day, and they're 2 weeks apart. I just always end up wearing this sweater.
Well, and this one's been, I think, 3 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah, it might have been 3 weeks ago that we were on, because we missed last week, and I think we missed the week before. Oh yeah, because we had 2 lodge meetings.
2 lodge meetings in a row. All right.
We're old men.
Let me pour myself some coffee.
Some cough. Anyway, and nobody's tuned in yet, so we're okay. You still got Ron's head on there, even though he skipped out.
Traitor. You hear that, Ron? I know you're going to be listening.
You'll come back and listen. Traitorous scum. No, he's doing some sort of post-Christmas activity, I think.
I saw.
Yeah, he'll definitely come back and listen because he likes doing gay shit. And
nothing wrong with that.
No,
if that's
of course
your
not.
proclivity. Just
he took the night off so he could do color crayon app stuff with the.
Yeah, he's coloring Marvel superheroes and villains.
I bought him a box of Crayolas, and he's like, "I can't do this on my tablet.
That doesn't do anything for my app."
For my app, yeah. All right, so welcome to the show. How is
welcome.
How are you doing, Bruno? How is your holiday season going for you?
How was Jesus's birthday?
It was chill. So we actually got tests as a family on Wednesday ahead of Friday and Saturday, but the tests never got here in time. We never got the tests in time, so we ended up just staying in and not conglomerating as a whole family.
Oh,
how about you guys?
We didn't even bother. I went to everybody's house. There was a lot of hugging involved. There were some photos taken. We pretended like there was no Omicron.
So, I mean, the only reason we did that was because we had a scare in terms of some contact, but we all came back negative.
Right on.
So it was a waste.
Oh yeah, and we don't like old people, so
yeah.
We just assume that.
I kind of like this. I've got a different overlay for 3 people, but I almost kind of like the one bleeding over to the top of Bruno, like that.
Oh, with you,
the
your
time
head
spent poorly. Yeah, I don't know how Bruno. I don't know how Bruno feels about it, but
I'm perfectly fine. I like it. I still love your background. Your new background is perfecto.
I have this one also, but that's cool. Mary Mac.
Oh, that was the Mary Mac one?
Yeah, I thought I had a Bruno one. I might somewhere.
She was great.
It's the one with me in the hat. You've used it before. It's fine.
Is it the new one? Have I done a new one for you yet?
I don't think so. I think it's the one you.
I was hoping for one with my better face, with that regal hairstyle that I've got going.
Yeah, I have that in the works. I just haven't done it yet. I need to. But
I've cut my hair since then, once or twice. Yeah, but there was that one day that it just looked. Ron said regal, and I thought that fit really well. I looked like royalty.
Regal.
I'll take it. Anytime someone compliments me in some way, shape, or form, I'll take it and I'll ride that bitch all the way to the finish line.
So, who got to get out? Did everybody get to see Spider-Man? Bruno, I know Chris and Ron did. Did you get out to see it?
No, you can spoil
Or do you have
it. You can spoil it. I don't plan on. I'm not huge on the Marvel stuff. I know that's a sin for me to say, but
didn't you work
Not
on one of
really.
those?
I did. I worked on one of the Spider-Mans. I
you
worked on
really?
Far From Home. Yeah,
Right on.
the New York unit though, not the whole film, because it was shot. It was filmed primarily in London, I believe, and then they did a few days in Italy, and then they came to New York to get some exteriors that you can only get in New York.
Right.
It's a solid movie. It's a little long, but the pacing was good. In fact, Alex even commented on that. My son, he was like, "That didn't seem like we were there for almost 3 hours."
Wow.
Yeah, for a 2.5 hour movie, I felt like it was paced right. It didn't feel like I didn't feel in pain. Like there's movies I'll be watching and I feel like in pain toward the
Yeah.
end of it because I just want to get done and be.
And there, at no
through it.
point
And
did
it's
I
not
feel like
that
I
it's
could get up and go to the bathroom.
Right.
Like I'm glad I didn't get a bladder buster because everything felt necessary. And I don't know. It was a good show. Nothing unpredictable happened.
No.
But I don't mind. Like at this point, I don't plan on being surprised when I go to a movie anymore.
We'll talk a little bit of spoilers as long as Bruno doesn't mind.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Go ahead and spoil it.
Part of it is 40 years of watching movies. And specifically studying story structure and whatnot. But also, like, movies are just kind of a predictable thing. And
for the most part, maybe, but not all. I don't think all of them are.
I mean, I do get surprised from time to time.
Yeah.
What was most surprising was there was no Loki cameo. There was no Kang. Like there was very little links to other Marvel movies. And after, like,
I think
in the
it's
car
because
ride
it
on
was
the way
Sony
home,
trying to disconnect from.
Exactly. And Alex and I were talking about that. I was like, you know why there wasn't as many Marvel connections was because it was a Sony movie. And we were just talking in the car on the way home, and I was like, I think the reason that there wasn't more tie-ins with everything else is because it was a Sony movie.
Right.
I like the Daredevil cameo because he wasn't Daredevil at all. He was just Matt Murdock, and it was just a couple of minutes. It wasn't like a big deal. But nothing else was really. There were no other surprised things, and that was just kind of like a neat little nod.
What I need to do is at some point, like I've seen most of the Marvel movies, not all of them, but I need to just go through and watch all of them at some point.
I would recommend it if you're going to just start
them.
with watch them in the order that they're intended to be
chronological
watched.
order, right? Or no?
I'd watch them in timeline order. That's kind of fun, as opposed to the release order.
Right.
Because you can watch them in release order, which works and almost makes the most sense, because then at least all of the stingers and stuff make sense. But in timeline order is just awesome, because you start with Captain America, then it's Captain Marvel, which is kind of a shit movie. Like, it's really sloppy, especially for how well made most of them are. It just, I don't know. You've got so many of them where the soundtrack just fits and goes with the action that's going, and I don't know. Captain Marvel was really sloppy.
And doesn't Disney Plus have it set up that you can watch them in the chronological order? Like they have it built into you can pick the order that you want to do.
Yeah, they've got them set up in phase 1, 2, 3, and 4, so you can even watch the series in order that they were released, or you can do it in timeline order, and then it has them all put. The Guardians movies are back to back, which is kind of cool too.
So I know that there's multiple Spider-Mans. Spoiler alert.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw a clip of like 3 or 4 Spider-Mans.
Yeah, all 3 of them are in it. All 3 that have
been the Tobey Maguire and the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man are in it. They were, which was great. And we talked about this.
It has to do with the parallel universes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Strange's spell gets kind of out of control because Tom Holland can't stop talking, and so it pulls in everybody who knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and that's how everything gets jumbled, which is cool.
Yeah.
And the post credits scene is just a trailer for the Doctor Strange movie, which is kind of cool. They just didn't do a post credit scene like they normally do. They just released the trailer for Doctor Strange.
So Sony wants to do a bunch of Spider-Man spin-offs.
Yeah.
And one of them is Spider-Girl. And it was supposed to start filming like March of 22, April of 22, but I heard it got pushed again. And it sounds like they keep on pushing it. I don't know, why or what the issue is with that, but I know they wanted to do Spider-Girl and then do like, I don't know if I'm getting this right, Dark Spider-Man or something like that. And they're all series. They're not movies.
Oh, cool. Are they going to release it on PlayStation Plus or something?
No, I think it's partnered with Amazon Prime.
Tight. I could watch that.
That's going to be interesting.
Because Prime comes with Prime. And I get Prime just for free delivery. And the
same here.
Just bonus. Did you watch Wheel of Time?
I did not know.
Don't.
I thought you were about to rave about it.
No, and maybe it's because I'm halfway through the books.
Yeah,
and maybe it's because the beard hates it so much. But
I don't watch too much Amazon Prime. I do it just for the shipping.
Yeah.
Although I have to admit, recently I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, they're not delivering on their promise of 2-day shipping anymore. It's very jumbled. Like I've gotten things the next day. I've gotten things in 2 days. I've gotten things in 3 days. I think the longest I waited was 4 days. And I'm like, where's my 2-day shipping? I'm paying for 2-day shipping.
Yeah.
See what I pay for with it, and I think everybody pays for different things. Like you said, you're paying for 2-day. I'm paying for free shipping, no charge on my shipping.
Well, they've always got free shipping.
It's free 2-day shipping.
5 to 9 days.
It's no, because my son has an Amazon account and he can only get free shipping if his order's over so much.
And does he pay for Amazon?
No, he doesn't pay for a Prime membership. He's just got a straight up Amazon account, so he can get free shipping when his order's over like $50 or something like that.
Right.
When's the last time I had an order under $50?
So what are your Prime? I mean, I think it's like $140, $150 a year now at this point.
I think I pay $120, but I also pay for a separate charge for Amazon Music also.
Yeah, I don't have Amazon Music.
Which it used to be built into Prime. It used to be part of Prime. But then they separated them out when Spotify and Apple Music and shit started coming in. So they wanted to have basically their version of that to compete. So they put a price point on it. I think it's like $80 a year.
Jesus.
But I mean, that's competitive when you compare it to
my Amazon Prime is $126.88.
I think mine's $119 or something like that, but it might be
cool.
Yeah, I have no idea.
It's probably based on where you live,
maybe. I mean, I think the $126.88 is because of maybe taxes or I don't know.
Oh, that could be.
I pay for everything in November, or I did. Now that I switched over to the Hulu,
nice.
Package I have to pay for Disney every month.
We've been Prime members since 2007, and if you watch a graph of it, it gradually it starts out small and then it goes up, and then shoots up about 2012, and then it's just been exponential since then.
So
there's a couple of things that you have to watch. Like The Boys is fantastic.
I've heard good things.
The comic was terrible. The art was shit. The storyline was juvenile. But it really they turned it into something great. And Invincible was a great comic, and they made it a great 8-episode cartoon series out of it. And
there's a few things on my to watch list that are on Amazon Prime, but they're all primarily documentaries.
There's some good ones on there. That Val Kilmer one is lights out.
Yeah, oh yeah, Val's awesome. What's the other? Couple shows to watch: Bosch and Goliath.
I've heard of Bosch. Yeah,
first season or 2 of Bosch I watched.
Titus Welliver's great.
Yeah.
Suppose they're going to be spinning that show off into a whole new separate series.
With who?
Based on the ending of with him. Based on on the ending of.
Do you guys still have cable?
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, we just got rid of cable at my house like 2-3 weeks ago. We bought like a $35 antenna, mounted it on the roof just to get the local channels.
I've been doing that for 7 years.
Local channels have like 7 or 8 channels attached to each one now.
Yeah, it's like 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4.
Yeah.
We were talking about this very thing the other day.
Like 24 hours of the Munsters, or I'm gonna watch. And one of them's even called Antenna TV.
I don't know how many channels you guys get in your area, but I get over 50 channels.
I was gonna say
locally for free.
Probably get a ton of stuff.
We get about 43, but it's variations on the same channel. Like we get Fox, NBC, ABC, and CBS. I can pick up on my antenna, and then I pick up PBS and then some different variations of those the point channels.
Yeah, I have like a bunch of
SWX, which is a sports channel.
I have some Spanish channels, some Japanese and Chinese channels.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, it's right.
Well, where you're at, New York City.
Where you're at, you would have to.
Yeah.
No me comas, chupacabra.
María, ¿por qué? Yeah, no, it's great. So we upgraded to gigabit internet. We were running on like 100 down and up, which was, it was good. It gets the job done, but now we're on gig. And we're still saving money because we only have internet and don't have the cable anymore. It's great.
Yeah, they try and weasel you into it because they give you discounts on various different things by packaging up, because they make a bunch of money if you have a phone number, and they make a bunch of money if you pay for cable. But you add them all together, and the discounts don't equal what you're paying, and they're making extra money because they get to sell commercials, and they get to sell your phone number, and they get to sell your whatever.
Yeah, it's just because
great internet. That's all I want.
The hardware, the hardware that they own, they're paying the same to maintain it, whether they have 1 customer or 100 customers. So it behooves them to have more customers than not.
Yeah.
So they make more money.
Any strain on it.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's not like the fan has to come on more if there's more people on it.
No.
The fan has to come on every hour anyway, or has to run. So,
what were you gonna say, Ward?
Oh, when I left cable, initially I saved a ton, because at the time I think I only had Amazon and Netflix. But then I started slowly piling on all these other streaming services. So I know I'm probably spending more now than I probably. Well, I don't know. Maybe not even. I might not be spending more, but I'm definitely spending
close to the same.
Close to the same, but at least I have content to watch. We went over to my grandma's for Thanksgiving, and she's got all these channels and nothing to watch, essentially, with cable or with Dish or whatever it was. And so, and surfing through the channels, like, I don't need to watch Emerald Lagasse sell a fucking frying pan on 17 channels.
No.
And
I don't need an air fryer.
So
well, no, I do need an air fryer, but I don't need his.
I don't need him telling me to get his air fryer or cooking it and being like I don't shop that way.
And shouldn't Ron Popeil be a skeleton by now? I don't need his pasta maker.
Exactly.
I don't need any pasta maker.
So
I learned how to make pasta on YouTube, and I can do it really well now. Don't tell anybody.
Right. I got desperate while we were over there, and I created a hotspot with my phone.
So wait, does she not have?
She does not have internet either. No.
Oh.
So.
No.
Well,
she
and
probably
so
has a really peaceful.
And my plan, I've since changed it. I changed it when we were over there, but it took the rest of the billing cycle for it to change over. So I was paying for a plan where it was like we were paying like $5 a gigabyte across all 4 of our phones, which normally was great, but not that month, not for November.
Ooh.
So my phone bill for November was like over $400.
Oh my God.
For all 4 of our phones. Wow. Now it's locked in at $140 no matter what.
Yeah.
But
it was a one time whatever.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, well, it happened, it's over. I'll move on. There's nothing I can do about it. So
that's it. Worth it.
Plus my grandma likes watching short little fail army videos and stuff like that. That's the shit that keeps her attention for some reason.
Oh,
we tried watching Hamilton with her, and she turned and she's like, she wanted to watch it at first, and then she turns and like, what is this? This is stupid. I don't like all the spoken word rappy stuff. She's like, I don't like it. This sounds
hilarious.
Terrible.
That's hilarious.
You might have to. Stupid. You might enjoy it more if you're actually there, but I was like, let's just turn it off. Yeah. But
I kind of feel that way about just about everything. Like you go to a wrestling show and there's something about being part of a crowd.
Yeah.
You feel it in your spine.
It's the same thing with concerts.
Yeah.
Yep. Same thing with concerts.
Yeah. You leave feeling like energized. I don't know, when I went to the last couple of concerts we went to, I saw Doobie Brothers recently, and that was really good. That felt really great while we were there. But then like the next day you just kind of feel back to normal. Don't care about it.
You feel a little dry.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing like you mentioned when you leave a show house after you've watched a movie.
Yeah.
You feel that little
there's a little high.
That little high you get from that.
Yep.
That little.
I didn't get that from The Matrix because I didn't go to the theater to see it. I watched it on the HBO, and it was like, excuse me. It was, I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed watching it. I really liked the whole Neo and Trinity interplay, but everyone else, including New Morpheus, was just forgettable.
Terrible.
It was. I wouldn't even say terrible. It was just forgettable.
No,
I didn't even feel it. It was like, okay.
I've said it before.
That.
I feel like they chose a diverse cast for the sake of having a diverse cast, and like they weren't believable characters for their roles. It didn't feel right. I don't know. There was a lot of bad stuff, but I do have to watch it again. I mean, we were talking about this. I had the annoying sleeper sitting about 6-7 seats down from me who was snoring loud enough for the whole theater.
Wow.
That's a risk you take when you go to see something.
Yeah.
You go there to feel a part of the crowd, but sometimes the crowd sucks because the public sucks. And
it's
whenever
aggravating.
You're dealing with them, you're like, fuck you people.
So
I'm sorry, but fuck you people.
The first 5-10 minutes into the movie, I hear some chatter and I'm like, is this in the movie or is this outside? And I realize that it's out in the hallway because we're close to the exit. So as people are leaving other movies, they're congregating right outside the doors to the theater we were in.
Oh, that's an asshole move.
Dude, I was like, that already irked me a little bit, but I kind of let it go, right? Because I'm like, don't they have people who work here who go and make sure the doors are closed before the fucking movie starts?
Right.
Like, come on.
What does usher mean?
Right?
Yeah.
So
that already
upset me a little bit, but it was only for maybe like a total of a minute, and then it stopped. So I was like, all right, whatever. And then like 10, 15 minutes later, this guy just knocks out. And I'm like, why did you even come to the movie? Why are you still even? And he would wake himself up with his own snoring after a while.
Okay,
and
so
then,
if I'm falling asleep, I know I snore. And if I'm wake, and it's fucking rude to stick around after you wake yourself up the first time.
Yeah.
Even if you
yourself
didn't,
out, pal.
Even if you didn't know you were snoring, it's like, wow, I just fell asleep at a movie that I paid, $12 to $15 to get into. Obviously, let me go home.
Yeah,
you would think. But no, he decides to stay there and sleep some more. Like,
go sleep in the car. It's not cool.
And then apparently, I didn't notice this. I went with my brother. My brother noticed. He said the chick that the dude was with was like on her phone the whole time. So I'm just like, why did you come to the movies? If one person is sleeping and the other one is on the fucking phone, you just spent $30
you could
for nothing.
Spend $15 for HBO Max and go watch it sleep at home while it's on.
In the background. Annoying.
They don't even charge for those. It's not even as bad as Disney. Disney charges for that shit. You got to get premium access for their movies. HBO
literally
I
drops
think they're done after this year, though.
Are they?
Yeah.
At one point, I looked over and he woke himself up, and I know he saw me, and we were looking eye to eye, and I mouthed the words, "Go home, please go home." Like, I whispered it. I didn't want to say it too loud because I don't want to interrupt the rest of the people enjoying the movie. It was so annoying. So yeah, it kept getting me out of the movie, so I couldn't focus and really pay attention.
Well, and it's not a real grabby movie anyway. Like it doesn't.
Yeah. It didn't.
It doesn't pull you in
because there was a little bit of mind fuckery going on as well. So you have to really pay attention,
especially the first third of the movie.
Yeah,
it's very heavy on the.
You're like, wait, what? What's real? What isn't real? I don't understand. Is he dreaming? Is this really happening or not?
I don't like that. I don't like it when they do that with shit because it gets too convoluted at a certain point. You're just like, well, what am I watching? What's real? What's not?
I see what you're saying. I just assume that at some point there's a payoff and you get the answers that you're looking for. So just keep paying attention.
Right.
But it does get a little annoying after a while.
Well, it's that wish-washy shit. Well, like they did that with was it Tenet? The fucking bullets from stuff.
I still haven't gone to see it.
Yeah. Well, and Nolan likes to do that shit with
he likes to play with time.
But
there's a dude that's a little too far up his own ass at this point. Like
I mean, he tunnels up there a little bit further every movie.
It's like, come on, man. I think he peaked at The Prestige.
I
love that movie.
I like The Prestige, but I have a real special place in my heart for Memento.
Also so good.
Memento was good.
Just
and I don't
Pearce.
Interstellar because it makes sense.
Yeah, no, Interstellar was very interesting.
Time loop.
I got that one. I didn't think it was a super wonderful movie.
No. It's too fucking long.
Yeah, it's just
drug out. There's too many of them that are just too long. Like, why does it have to be so long? Everybody's doing that now. You
they're
go
going.
Back and you watch some stuff in the '80s, and it's like an hour and a half, and it's good and it's tight, and you're like, "Yeah, I just watched the movie."
They had to sell movie tickets. The shorter the movie, the more butts and seats. So, like, I saw a history of the theater, right? And going to the theater used to be practically an all-day event. You would pay a nickel, go in, and you'd watch like 5 or 6 different. It was a programming. You'd watch 5 or 6 different things, including a news piece.
Yeah, newsreels, cartoons.
Right, exactly. Then they started realizing we'll make more money if we get people in and out. So that's when they started doing feature length movies, and at first they were kind of long, and then they just started asking the production companies to do, 1 hour and a half to 2 hours was the sweet spot.
Yeah, and now they're just so long. Can you set this one so I can see the comments on the side? Oh, I see his overlay stuff.
Oh. There you go. Yeah, the length. I keep hearing like feedback.
Feedback of.
That might just be your headphones still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Because
it's crisp.
Okay.
Yeah, you sound good to me.
Guys, I'm going crazy.
Yeah, I can't think of anything I've seen that needed to be as long as it is lately. Maybe Endgame. Spider-Man could have been shorter. I don't know how long The Matrix was. I didn't pay attention because I kind of fell asleep in the middle, like the guy in your theater. But I was in my.
It's like 2 and change.
Is it?
It's like 2 hours and change. I believe 2.5.
But I don't.
So go ahead.
I don't need it to be 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Like you had those movies that need to be 2.5 hours, and there are some,
most do not.
But most
do not.
And everybody's going like, well, we don't need to cut anything. Some of that shit needs to be left on the cutting room floor.
2 hours and 27 minutes.
But like I said, Spider-Man's pacing was on point.
How long was Spider-Man, you guys said?
2 hours and 40 minutes.
Wow.
And it didn't feel that long. It felt like a good, tight 42-minute episode of something.
Well, like, if you remember back to, like, the Lord of the Rings movies, those feel long in the tooth at a certain point, especially when...
I've got friends that watch them all the time.
The third one,
just can't.
Return of the King, has like 17 endings.
Yeah, the ending for that movie is 40 fucking minutes.
It's long. Like ongoing. It keeps ending. It's like, oh, it's over, and then it's like
the ending is a movie.
We have a Sam scene.
Yeah, he's got a hug.
Sam's got a hug.
He
Frodo.
Banged that chick and had kids. Look at that. They've got children. Like 20 years into his future, because I don't know how long hobbits gestate, but.
The ending is its own movie.
It is. Yeah. It's like, oh my god. But then
Lord of the Rings, the ending.
Return to the ending.
No, don't give Peter Jackson any ideas. He'll stretch it out into a trilogy.
Well, and The Hobbit, because that was the only one of those books that I actually read. That book is like 215 pages or something.
Yeah.
With the coda. And they stretched that into 3 long-ass movies that didn't need to be 3 long-ass movies.
Yeah.
Like, that didn't need to happen.
I had fun with those movies at the time. I don't know how well they hold up now, but I enjoyed them.
Yeah.
But
I enjoyed the 2 Towers.
They're good.
I was talking about the Hobbit ones.
Oh, the Hobbit ones?
I know a lot of people didn't care for them as much, and I thought they were fine.
The Hobbit was great because it was shot at 48 frames, I believe.
Yeah, I know they did some camera stuff that they had never done.
Yeah, so that was very interesting. I went to go watch it also because of that, because it was shot at a specific frame rate, and then they used GoPros in that movie.
Really?
Yeah, if you know where it is. Like, if you go back and watch it now, knowing that there's a scene that's shot with a GoPro, you'll know what scene it is.
That shit's on HBO, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, probably.
But it's pretty well done that if you don't know that there's scenes shot with a GoPro, you wouldn't even notice.
No, they do iPhone stuff now.
Yeah.
And
incredible.
You don't know half the time.
Yeah. Technology's getting insane.
If you're paying attention, you're like, that doesn't look like a professional camera work. But
have you guys been keeping up with the what's it called? The things that they did with Mandalorian.
The screens?
Well, yeah. It's the virtual production essentially with Unreal Engine. It's the future, man. I've been doing some research on it and looking into it and listening to some people talk about it. Incredible. It's going to change the way movies are made.
Tell me about it, because I don't know much about it.
Oh, what?
So
you get a chance. pull it up on Disney Plus. It's something to see.
So imagine, so what they're doing is they're marrying the video game world with the movie world, and using Unreal Engine, you can create any kind of environment you want, right? So what they'll do is they set up, instead of green screens, they'll set up a bunch of LED screens in a sphere. Sphere is not the right word, but like a cylinder right around you, and they create a stage made of these screens, and then they project the world that you built in Unreal onto these screens, and they mix it with, they marry it with this technology that tracks the camera. So as the camera moves, it's going to change the image on the screen where the camera is looking, right? So it gives the illusion that it's a real location, that you're really there. And one, it's better than green screen, because now for the actor, they can actually interact as if they're really there.
They're
because
interpreting
they
the
see it.
environment.
Exactly. Yeah. Two, it's great. It's great because of lighting. So before, if you're using a green screen, you get a little bit of a green splash from the light bouncing off the green screen. Now you don't get that anymore. You get the actual real color reflections on the actors, on the props, on whatever is in front of those screens. And then three, it's great because, if you have to shoot a scene in a desert and then you have to shoot a scene in a rainforest, you can do that all in the same day in the same place. You don't have to travel from one place to the next. So you just saved a ton of money, because you don't have to travel your crew from one place to the other, hire crew in both locations, deal with all that mess of travel. You could just do everything in one place. It's fantastic.
It's amazing.
I can watch about this on Disney.
What are the ramifications?
I don't know if you can
behind the scenes in Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, okay.
But it doesn't go to that depth, especially the Unreal thing. But they do cover some of it, and they show the beginnings before they did the cylindrical stuff. It's just they've got
the volume. That's what they call it. They call it the volume. So the whole stage itself, they call it the volume.
It's just fantastic to look at, though.
Incredible.
They show the camera go around him while he's on one of the speeders, and as the camera moves, the scene on the screens changes.
It sounds almost like a holodeck.
It is
kind of,
but it's just big LED screens.
That's crazy.
Instead of the green screens like you've got behind you. I've got.
And I mean, you saw The Mandalorian, and you saw how well the background was able to blend into the actual, the real props that are there, and you almost can't tell where the screen ends and where it begins. So it looks like they're actually there. And this is primitive technology. If you think about it, like, this is the beginning. So imagine how much better it's going to get. It's going to be insanely good.
Right.
And insanely cheap. Right now, it's very expensive to pull something like this off. You're looking at just to set up that stage is at least 30 to 50,000 just in equipment alone. That's not counting the labor charges to set it up or the space that you need to rent to set it up. That's literally just the rental of the screens. So obviously technology gets cheaper over time and it'll become more affordable, but it's going to definitely revolutionize filmmaking and make things even cheaper.
A spare room in your house you could set up like that. The kind of things you could do just after
100%. And you can set up
to make being a YouTuber, like, it's going to separate the good from the bad in the YouTube universe, because they'll be able to, every famous YouTuber will be able to afford it.
Yep.
But every good famous YouTuber is going to be the one that's going to capitalize on it.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
They'll hire somebody that can build an Unreal,
right?
Which means I should probably go take some.
Because and you could pull off a primitive version right now, like if you have a 70-inch TV, for example, or something, massive, you could just use that. Use that TV and just stay in front of the TV. You're just limited on your angles.
And someone who hates it. So
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I know where there's an 86-incher and someone who hates it.
That's right.
There's
one about 60 feet away from us.
Did you get an 86-incher?
Last year, yeah.
Isn't it something?
I love it.
It's like being in the drive-through or drive-in.
And I changed the configuration of my couch now, so it like is almost center. It's that big sectional. I think I sent a picture to you guys.
Yeah.
But it's almost center with the TV now. It's beautiful.
So you can pull off your own volume, mini volume, micro volume. So essentially with The Mandalorian, I think they did 220 degrees or something. And what they want to do is they want to be able to do a full 360 degree volume, meaning you're going to be englobed in the screens. And what they'll do is there'll be a section where the screen sits a little bit further back so that you can come in and out of the volume, if that made sense.
Yeah. It's just crazy.
God, that is borderline what I said earlier. Star Trek shit right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, definitely.
We had similar things in the military. They had these Humvee trainers, and you'd go in, and there was an actual Humvee there that sat in the midst of screens. It was a room about the size of this shop, and there were screens, and they had you'd sit there, and the gas was connected to the computer, and all of your weapons were connected to the computer. And so it could simulate driving through in a convoy, and they'd have 6 or 7 of them set up together, and so they were all linked up. And
that's sick.
You'd see everybody else in the convoy, and you'd go through as if you were actually in ops in country, doing a convoy mission, and everybody'd have to take turns as the gunner, and everybody, and you could get out of the truck and fire.
That's kind of badass.
It was. I mean, it was real primitive. The graphics were terrible because this was 15 years ago, 10 years ago.
So imagine what it must probably look like now.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it's probably crazy now.
It's like a video game.
Yeah, and we had ranges like that too. I can't remember what the acronym for them was, but you'd go in and it was. You could go qualify on the range without ever having to go to the range. And then they'd have various scenarios that you do, and there were shoot and don't shoot scenarios. And it was great training. And, you'd have people coming out of various areas, and you'd have to not shoot the civilians, but shoot the terrorist, so to speak. And it was like more brutality on the.
How do you choose? Do you have like a virtual gun, or is it just
it was an actual M4 with they had simulators attached to it, and so it had like a light gun that picked up where you shot.
Oh shit!
So you'd have to calibrate it before each mission, and it was a good time. It wasn't perfected by any means, but it was a similar setup.
That's super sick.
Yeah. I was like, man, I got to get one of these for the house.
Imagine.
Like at that point, because it was a government contract, it was like a $5 billion piece of equipment. and at that point, it was barely above.
It's probably cheaper now, though. Probably more affordable now.
I'm sure it was. They probably got 50 or 60 of them just sitting in the desert somewhere. You can order up.
But yeah, I mean, Unreal Engine is cool though, and anyone can play with Unreal. You can't play with Unreal Engine 5, which is the latest one, but you can play with, I think the latest version you can do is 4.5 or 4.7. You can literally just go on Epic's website and download Unreal Engine 4 point whatever it is, and get in there, create your own worlds, and it's
and there's no reason for them
crazy.
not to let you. Because the more people that can create with it, the more money they're going to make.
100%. Absolutely. It's free. They release the engine for free.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Well,
anyone who's interested, I definitely recommend going to check it out and playing with it. I mean, any youngins that are thinking of getting into filmmaking and they're not sure what to do, they just know they want to get into the world, go play with this tool. Go play with and learn as much as you can about Unreal Engine. It's going to be the future.
Are you doing that? Because this seems like something that's going to destroy your job.
100%. It's going to decimate the locations department, because you won't have to be out as much. Like it's not going to get rid of locations, because there's always going to be specific scenes or specific productions that are going to need to be out in physical actual locations, but you're just not going to have it as much anymore. You're, instead of right now every single production has a locations team, you may go to a point where only 50% of productions have a locations team, or instead of a locations department being on for the whole show, you're only on for like 20% of production, because
4 or 5 days.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's basically, it's giving you rubber guns.
Mm-hmm. So,
what's that?
That was a callback.
Well, yeah, because The Rock's moving to rubber guns now.
Is he?
That was what he promised.
Yeah, so yeah, no, it definitely is, and it's definitely something that I'm interested in. Even as like a producer, I'm interested in it, because think about, if I could shoot anywhere in the world in my backyard, so to speak, how much money I could save, the amount of the different kinds of stories I could tell, the worlds I can create,
the creative. Your creativity is opened wide open.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, if you could build a 30 by 30 shed in the back, and waterproof it, weatherproof it, and set it up to shoot, why not?
Absolutely, dude. I mean, what does rent cost at a warehouse in the middle of the country? You know what I mean? In the middle of nowhere. You can set it up there. It doesn't, you don't have to go to Brazil, to the Amazon, to actually film there and deal with the headaches of the logistics down there. You could literally just recreate that in a warehouse anywhere in the world.
Dengue fever, no.
Exactly.
So,
no fire ants, no.
So with the so are they using computer generated images with Unreal Engine, or are they using like footage from other?
No, they're using everything. Every single thing is computer generated. So I was watching this clip, and it was essentially a DP, right? Director of photography, the guy in charge of the camera. It was a designer, art director, and the director. And the way that they quote unquote location scouted was they already knew what the room needed to look like. So they had the person in charge build out the room, and then with the help of the designer and the art director, they furnished it and they did all of that, right? And then the director just comes in and says, "Oh, I don't like the color of that couch." And it doesn't even have to be the color. Like, let's say I don't like that the couch is leather. I want it to be I don't know, velour, whatever. You could change it to be anything you want, any size, whatever your mind imagines, whatever your heart desires.
So if you wanted to make it from like the skins of people's penises, you could do that.
You could do that.
Foreskin couch.
100%. Any color, any cloth material. And then
run the gamut: Asian, African, white, Puerto Rican. You want to go the whole gamut of foreskins. It's the
and then they had the DP the DP and the director literally placed the camera virtually in the room, and they saw what the shot was going to be before they even go to film it. So you literally, and this part is called previs, which is pre-visualization. So you're visualizing it digitally before you go out and
basically like storyboarding, kind of.
Essentially, it's like a professional storyboard.
Yeah.
Right. So you're doing all of this in real time, so that by the time you go to film it, you know everything. You know where the camera is going to be placed. You know what the actor looks like, where they're at, the camera movement, everything has already been spoken about beforehand.
The crazy thing is, marry that with
body scanning.
That and what's the shit, the deep fake shit.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
motion capture, deep faking.
Yeah.
And the body
you don't need big actors anymore.
Nope.
And that's something that's
or
definitely
you can create an algorithm that creates a big actor.
Yeah.
Here's these three. We just created a hybrid of Tom Cruise, I don't know, Chris Evans, like a 3-person hybrid.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's our new famous actor. Or we just brought John Wayne back to life, and this one's not racist.
Yeah. This one
so
black people.
Two thoughts with that, right? One, that's something that has already run through my mind, which is like, what if the celebrities that we know of today in the acting world, what if these are going to be the last A-listers that ever exist, right?
They're real people.
What if Leo DiCaprio, Tom Cruise, all these A-list names are going to be forever the A-list names moving on, because what they'll do is just 3D scan them, and then using previous video footage, just put their faces onto other people in the future, and it's like a deep fake. You can make them
use other people,
do whatever they want.
The people in Unreal, they won't even need the technology.
It could be. It's possible.
They could put Tom Cruise in a mocap suit and have him run after a plane once.
No more actors.
That forever.
No more actors. And then the other point I was going to make is, you were talking about making these virtual people, so to speak, that become the new celebrities. It already exists, by the way. There's, I believe her name is Michaela. She's a social media sensation. Let me see. I'm going to see if
and she doesn't exist.
She doesn't exist. She's a digital character that was created by, I forgot who, and she has a huge social media presence, a huge following. She's signed by talent agencies, and she does commercials.
And she's not real.
Not real.
That's insane.
There's a dude that did something. He took like 1,000 different women's pictures, put them into one of those algorithms that mashes them together,
right,
and makes it as appealing as possible. And it
that
fakes over
that webcam,
and he does it,
webcam show, that Netflix movie, Cam Girl or whatever it was called. Mm-hmm. I can't remember. But basically, the cam girl wasn't real.
That's crazy.
In the premise of the movie was that she ended up being.
But this guy did this for real.
Yeah,
and he's
that's insane.
Cam.
So I don't know if you guys saw the link. I just sent you guys the Instagram to her name is Michaela, something like that. She's got 3.1 million followers.
Someone who doesn't exist has more followers than I do. I have like 12.
Michaela.
30.
Lil Michaela.
But look,
and she looks very close to being real, though. Especially in some of these photos.
Those nostrils, though, man.
Yeah. See, she's not appealing to me, for one.
So she was designed, the way they designed her was so that she was culturally and racially ambiguous.
Right. She's got Irish freckles.
Yeah, she has like a mix of a bunch of different people.
She's got, I don't know, and she's got that tooth gap.
Yeah.
Which is appealing to dudes who think that means something in particular. Oh, see, in motion, she's very uncanny.
Do I know what's going on? No. But that's never stopped me before. Do I know what's going on? No. But that's never stopped me before.
Ugh.
Yeah.
This is frightening.
Yeah, the video's not good. They've got her
that
still.
Bonkers.
The stills are legit. Like, that looks like a real person. But
the stills can definitely fool you.
Like the stills just look like a real person with a bunch of filters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not even like as many as some real people put on themselves.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a subreddit called Instagram Reality, and they it's just all about calling people out about that shit. Like, she doesn't even look like that fake.
So now clearly the people that she's with in these videos look real.
Well, they are real. The people that
real.
she's with are real.
Are they part of a team?
I don't know. I don't follow her. I read about this a little while ago. I looked into it.
This is, oh man, what a fucking rabbit hole, Bruno. Thanks a lot.
So fucking weird.
Dude, you want rabbit holes? I'll give you another rabbit hole. Today, I was reading about digital art, not computerized. I want to say it's computerized art. So
like
there are
things.
No. There's software out there where you literally give it some words, and it will create the art for you.
Oh yes, I've seen these. Some of them are creepy as hell.
Yeah, like psychedelic, kind of trippy. But they're perfecting this to the point where it's getting really fucking good. Really good. And I was looking at some of them today, and I was reading an article about it, and I was amazed and shocked. So right now, with Unreal Engine, you have to know what the hell you're doing in the software, right? You have to know how to manipulate the scenery and do this and that. Imagine you can just type in mountains with a sunset, and boom, it automatically makes the mountains with a sunset for you. You don't even have to design anything. You literally just type out the words.
Yeah, and then it gives you like 15 options.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Oh, here's one with like
as many as you want.
Here's one with an orange overlay. Here's one with and various randomized mountains. This one has snow on it. This mountain doesn't get snow. This one has a full glacier.
Right.
Here, I'm going to send you guys the link to the article again for that.
You guys have gone to thispersondoesnotexist.com.
Yep. I've been there. So on the article I sent you guys, obviously, the first images you guys see, it's kind of nothing. But then as you scroll down, it starts becoming more and more, I don't want to say realistic, but the images start making more sense. And if you scroll about 75% of the way down, it looks like a hut in the middle of a blizzard. And literally what they wrote down was a small hut in a blizzard near the top of a mountain with one light turn on at dusk, trending on ArtStation Unreal Engine. And it literally produced that image, and it looks exactly like what they typed out.
That's crazy. Cray for real.
It's some of the last images. Some of the last images look like they could be pictures or actual paintings by a real artist.
Yeah, no, that's the crazy thing is, like, if I was an art collector, I would think I was getting something. Like, I would buy some of this shit.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like, I thought the same thing.
The more wild and crazy ones, they look like somebody did a bunch of acid and just decided, like, I'm going to paint some shit.
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, I could buy that. That looks like some Picasso, Van Gogh shit. Once that guy's dead, I'd buy that art, that kind of shit. Like, it's not worth anything when he's alive because it's crap. But
right.
But once he's dead, we can apply any sort of nonsense to it and pretend that he was crazy.
Because of scarcity. Once he's dead, there's no more being made. Whatever's out is out.
That's right.
So there's definitely a lot of really cool stuff being done in the digital space, and it's changing things. It's definitely changing things.
It's both frightening. I wanted to say frightening last, but it's a heartening thing too. It's like
it is a little
and frightening at the same time
because you don't know what the outcome is. That's the frightening part.
Right.
So this kind of ties into
it's like my dad being afraid of burning a CD.
What do you mean?
I was trying to make a joke.
Like because he thinks
in the 90s when I was like, I'll just burn it onto a CD. He's like, what are you doing?
I see what you're saying. I thought you literally meant burning an actual CD.
No,
like with fire.
No, burning it in a computer.
Copy. Yeah. Yes. Burning. I gotcha. Now, it took me a second.
It's like when you used to take a cassette and tape things off the radio.
Yeah, exactly.
Put in a request.
Don't be afraid, Dad.
Nobody's gonna come after you.
My son's new car has a tape deck.
What?
Yeah, no, I had to buy the little cassette tape deal that plugs in.
Oh, that's why you were asking about one.
They still sell those. Crazy. I got it for $10 off of Amazon.
Who still has cassette decks in the cars though? How old is the car?
23 years old. It's old.
What kind of car is it?
I got him a 99 Honda Accord.
Sweet. That thing will probably outlast all our lives.
Probably.
19.
I know. Well, that's the thing. Like, and it's got nearly 250,000 miles on it.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, just take care of it.
Mine had
it'll last.
12.
If it's run that long, you got to think like if you just take care of something.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna get nickeled and dimed on some shit, obviously, because
of course
getting old and your parts are gonna wear out and stuff. But I mean, the body of it's in good shape. It's a nice car.
That's awesome.
Is nice.
And those old cars, it's more mechanical pieces, not a lot of digital pieces and computers.
Right.
So, when things do break, it's easier to fix. Compared to these newer.
You need a whole new computer.
Yeah, now and it's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same again with these newer cars.
Yeah.
Once you fix one thing, that's it.
Mine's you got to go to a mechanic.
Yeah.
Because it's a 2019 or 2018, I don't remember. But it doesn't matter. It's new enough that there's nothing I can do to it. Like with my previous one, which was a 99 Accord, I could, if I wanted to, I could have found the manual and probably gone to an auto parts store and fixed anything that needed to be fixed. Even with my limited mechanical abilities, I probably could have gotten it.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially with YouTube now.
Yeah.
Forget
I could have found a step-by-step walkthrough on how to do it, because some asshole out there would have done it. There's 50 billion years worth of information on YouTube.
Which is insane.
Only 95% of it is useless.
Exactly.
It's almost like, why even bother going to school? You can learn everything for free on the internet.
It took me 5 minutes to learn how to cook a perfect steak on YouTube.
No culinary school necessary.
None.
So we were just talking about the actors probably not even needing actors in the future and just reusing old actors' faces, which kind of leads to the question that I had asked you guys the other day, which is about a blockbuster marketed film, but with no known cast members and no known IP. Could it work?
With the right marketing, yeah.
Yeah.
People will go see it.
Well, I think if you're marketing it on that Unreal Engine or that where you're creating somebody. Like if I got to go see,
all three of us would go based on that, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
especially
I want to see if I can go in there and pick out what's. Oh, let me see where. Let me see if I can see the breaks in the.
That's literally what I was doing with Mando. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, can I? Where are the breaks? Can I
Where
see? Can I notice it? Yeah.
Let me see what I can find.
The other thing is you could treat this like animation too. Like, you know, you do animate like as it continues to develop. Because
absolutely.
Like you
it's like realistic animation.
Right. Cast big name actors to voice big name actors. You know who would be cool to Kurt Russell does a good John Wayne impression. Not to go back to John Wayne, but recreate John Wayne, and he's doing the voice of John Wayne.
When Timothy Olyphant did the voice in Rango, when you thought it was actually Clint Eastwood doing the Spirit of the West, it was Timothy Olyphant. You're like, oh my god,
yeah,
I like that movie.
It's crazy.
Rango was fantastic.
It's the future. The future.
Well, and you get a voice actor who can do impressions and does them spot on. He can do 15 parts, absolutely. And you pay one dude, and you're like, I'm going to hire you for the day.
They already do that.
Exactly.
Like Rick and Morty, there's one actor who voices like 4 or 5 characters.
Yeah, the creator. Yeah. So like
exactly.
Or co-creator.
He's probably thinking like, I'm saving a mint.
Oh yeah,
myself.
He fucks up his voice with doing the voice of Rick, but yeah.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I think he was talking about that once. Because it.
I finally watched the pilot.
Minting some coin doing all those voices.
Yeah.
Because he's still getting bank off doing the show.
You watched the pilot of it?
Yeah.
Pilot's not as good as the rest of the series because it's the pilot. But
Rick and Morty?
The pilot's solid, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's.
I caught up on It's Always Sunny, and now I'm catching up on all the Archer that I missed.
And did you guys see the clip that Rick and Morty is based off of?
No.
I think I have Once Upon a Time. It's like been a while.
I think it's like a cartoony clip, and it's damn, what do they call it? Doc and Morty or Doc and Marty, something like that. I think that's what it was.
Probably Doc and Marty.
Yeah, because it has like Back to the Future. It almost
vibes
looks like that.
Yeah,
yeah.
They're just dimension hopping instead of time hopping, but I thought it was a pretty good show. I was kind of amazed because normally if stuff is built up as much as Rick and Morty has been built up,
I dispose of the fan love for it because I like it. Like I'm a fan of it, but I don't get into like I don't dig into everybody else's love for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I just turn me off because of the fandom.
Like I'm not going to walk into a room of Rick and Morty fans and like start jerking it together because I don't have any interest in that. I enjoy it as a show, as it's artistic.
There's a GIF out there of a monkey pissing in his own mouth. I don't know, but every time a fandom starts wanking about something, that GIF goes through my head. This monkey just leaning back in the tree, pissing in his own mouth.
Yes,
and it's just like,
that's hilarious.
You, bro. That's you.
Oh, speaking of monkeys,
Piss Town, population you, bro.
Speaking of monkeys,
yeah,
do we have a monkey?
I have a monkey.
It is Doc and Marty, by the way. It's Doc and Marty.
Fucking fuck.
Enraged monkeys kill 250 dogs by dragging them to the top of buildings and dropping them off out of revenge after pups kill one of their infants in Indian village.
Horrific incidents reported in Majalgaon and Lavul village in India's Maharashtra. Yes?
Maharashtra. Yeah, sounds right.
According to local reports, there are now barely any dogs left in Lavul village. Villagers say monkeys drag dogs up to high place and drop them to their death. But without any dog targets, the monkeys are reportedly turning on children. Fuck you.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Enraged monkeys have killed 250 dogs in an Indian district by dragging them to the top of the buildings and trees and dropping them. Panic-stricken residents have also come under attack and say the acts of animal violence have been carried out in revenge after a pack of dogs killed one of the monkey's infants. The horrific incidents have been reported in the villages of Majalgone, where 250 dogs are said to have been killed by rampaging primates, in nearby Lavul in Maharashtra's Bede district.
Look at this.
And look, there's a picture of a monkey packing a mud around, just about to drop it off the building.
I was watching the clips and everything.
Fucking crazy.
It's kind of sad.
It is. It's.
I want to slap the shit out of these monkeys, though.
Like, come on, monkeys!
But I know, that's one thing, and this was on It's Always Sunny, just one of the more recent episodes I watched. So it was within the last season or two, where he's talking about you cannot recover from that particular faux pas. Any sort of anti-puppy anything is a public relations thing you cannot recover from, and these monkeys will not recover from this.
Oh, absolutely not.
Like you will never, no one will ever feel bad for this particular species of primate again, because they killed 250 dogs, and most of them were puppies.
Right.
Like they targeted puppies specifically.
Yeah, I mean they're genocide monkeys.
Yeah, like these monkeys are Nazis, and this isn't just an internet thing. Like we're not. Is it Godwin? Yeah, we're not Godwining this. They literally are monkey Nazis. They're going after and genociding these fucking dogs because they killed one infant, not like a bunch of infants, like a wild pack of dogs. This is like if MS-13 went and killed a baby somewhere,
right?
And you killed everybody in Mexico.
Right.
Like you just went and killed Mexico because one street gang did something.
Easy, Jason Statham.
Calm down. You can't kill the country because of the acts of one street gang, or even if the cartel did something. A cartel kills one village, so you kill the whole country. You can't do that. And that's what these monkeys did. And do you give them a pass? Do you not give them a pass? I kind of give them a pass because they're primates, sure, but they're not primates. They're not developed like.
Right.
I mean, they have their primate brain.
They're developed to the point that they're going to develop, and that is the point of their development.
Right. They're not.
We can't treat them like human beings.
No, they can't reason.
Right.
I mean, beyond a certain point.
They're behaving worse than a 2-year-old would behave.
Right. Like mine's not.
What if they killed the one puppy or dog or whatever to get back, and then realized how much power they had, and they just went power hungry and decided to start killing off all the dogs?
See, that's a very human response.
Right.
And then you can't forgive.
Is it? But humans are just animals, if you think about it, right?
I know. I use that argument a lot.
So and
probably more than I should.
So what if that was just like a animal instinct? It's like they like the feeling that they got from killing that one dog, and they're just like, that was fun. Let's keep doing this.
What if it's like me in the golf cart? Instinct? What if it's a primate instinct? What if that is a primate-specific trait?
Oh,
because humans do it all the time. We've seen it in gorillas. We've seen it in
serial killers.
What kind of monkeys are these?
They look like they look like those bonobo or whatever.
They're not. I mean, they're not chimpanzees. They're like, when I think monkey, normally my brain goes chimpanzee, not little Reese's plague monkey. Plague monkey. But I don't. Maybe it's a bonobo. Maybe it's a.
So that is an interesting.
No, it's not bonobo.
Interesting thought, though. Is maybe
our madness is a primate trait. I don't know. We're a weird. I mean, humans
it's a weird world.
Weird species. There's so much. I wish they said, what did monkeys?
I want to go to the Snopes now to see if it's a mixture.
It's a mixture. Snopes says it's a mixture.
Reports from India indicate that several dogs died after they were taken away by monkeys and brought to inaccessible rooftops. I love that it feels like there's thought involved in this. Like, bring them up to the rooftop. guys, this way. We can get them up there. Nobody will even.
From starvation, not from being thrown off rooftops. Oh, okay.
Because that's the other thing too, is like, how do they know to take the dog to a big height and drop it from that height to kill it? Like there was some thought.
Yeah, the intent was there.
Yeah,
you don't
absolutely
drag something up to a large.
Oh, so they brought them to the top of the rooftop and left them there to die. They didn't throw them off.
Oh.
The majority of dogs. What's false? That's what's false. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, the majority of dogs died from starvation, not from being thrown off rooftops. So did they drag him up to the rooftops and leave him to die of starvation, which is infinitely worse than dying of a fall? I would
right.
Well, I mean that we were talking beforehand about Botox injections, and the fact that one of the side effects is ALS, which is also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, which is a horrible way to die. And Botox is not just for cosmetic use. There's if you have chronic migraines, they use it as a way to alleviate those. I'm not sure why you would inject botulism into yourself and how that helps with relieving of migraine headaches, but probably something to do with some sort of paralysis, because the medication that I take,
I'm not a doctor, Chris,
anti-seizure medication, and so it probably
it does something,
paralyzes whatever. But one of the side effects of Botox is an increased risk of getting ALS, and I have had a migraine or 5 that have made me want to die, but I've never wanted to die of ALS. Like I've never wanted to die so bad that I'd be like, yeah, let's take something that takes years to kill you and have them be insufferable fucking years. I've wanted to die of like a fentanyl overdose. Like, let it just shut me down and let me take the sweet embrace of an opioid death, as opposed to a wasting disease. I don't want to inject myself with botulism and then get something that takes years to slay me. No, because even my worst headache has only lasted maybe 3 or 4 days. I don't want a years long wasting disease as a side effect, and that's a side effect for cosmetic Botox too. And no wrinkle is so deep that I want Lou Gehrig's disease. None. No thanks. I'll take the wrinkles.
Give me all the wrinkles.
I'll take all of them if it means I don't get ALS. And
would you guys? Would you rather be 80 years old with the mind of an 80-year-old but the body of a 30-year-old, or would you rather be 80 years old with the mind of a 30-year-old and the body of an 80-year-old?
The first one.
So the body.
It depends.
Body of a 30-year-old, mind of an 80-year-old. Because
because the brain is still
as 30. Long as I'm intact. Yeah.
Yeah, because if my brain still functions at this speed and ability that it did when I was 30, because I can even notice, like I know more than I did when I was 30, but my brain worked better at 30, I think.
So wait, are you saying you want the young brain and the old body, or the young body and the old brain?
Oh, so the brain is aged.
Either one or the other.
I want the young brain. I don't
the
give
young
a shit
brain.
about my body. My body's already shot, and I still do all right. But I would take the younger brain because
It's a tough one.
I would not be able to function without it. Like once I start losing my mind, I'm gonna check myself into the old folks home.
All right, but here's the thing. What if you couldn't, if you weren't mobile, you couldn't get around, and you were fully aware of your disabilities? Like, let's say you got so bad that someone had to take care of you, and you knew very lucidly that you were relying on someone else, and they had to like wipe your ass and give you a bath and feed you.
Can I talk?
I guess.
But I can communicate with other people and.
Sure.
Okay, I'll take the brain still.
Still take the brains. Okay.
Yep. That's the only thing I have to offer anybody. Is my ability to talk.
See, I think I would take the younger body just because I rather not be up there in my head, but not be a burden on people.
Oh, yeah. But see, if I had the 80-year-old mind and I had the dementia and shit, and I'm like, not everybody at that age has the dementia, but it sets in.
Right.
And we don't even know why, really, because we don't understand the brain at all. Honestly.
Right.
Every time I read a new paper about the brain,
dude,
it's like, we don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely nothing we know is for certain. But I don't know. I mean, maybe if you're still fully mobile and able to get out there and do things, your brain never deteriorates. I don't know.
I've read there's some studies that suggest it, as a grandparent, if you're going to, if it's like like inherited dementia, if you're going to get dementia, you're better off to have like grandchildren and stuff around. It keeps your everything firing a little bit better and longer.
But if you mean like, your standard, you're thinking about old man brain, where you're like screaming at people to get off your lawn, and you're crazy old man with a shotgun kind of crazy, then it's super dangerous to have 20-year-old body.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that.
Like if I'm in deep stages of dementia,
that's true. That's true.
You've seen people like that, and
because then
you've got old man strength,
right?
That's a good point.
Young man strength and old man.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Power. Yeah,
the people around you are in serious danger if you've got youthful reflexes, speed, and reaction time, and you're still in the depths of dementia.
Oh, it's
not everybody
situation.
Dementia, but
getting old sucks, guys. Don't get old.
Because I've already got like a lot of old people problems creeping up. Because my body's in pretty shitty shape.
Yeah, same here. A lot of them are self-induced. Well, in that, if I took better care of myself, obviously.
Yeah, mine are from environmental conditions.
Well, some of it's environmental because, like the food that we eat, the processed food and stuff that we.
Oh, I meant breathing shit in Iraq.
Sure.
Are you still playing hockey, Ward?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Hockey was both good and bad for me because of the. When I started playing hockey, I was about 50 pounds lighter than I am right now.
Oh shit!
And well, no, it was closer to 40. I think I'd gained a little back, but then when I started playing hockey, I started drinking beer more, which wasn't the only thing.
So
but
it was a wash.
But it ended up partially being that playing when I first started playing hockey, I was working muscles that I hadn't worked before, and so come Monday, when I would usually come out in my shop and exercise, I was like, it's fuck time this. To rest. I need to, like, fuck. I'm in pain. I'm sore. I don't want to go fucking lift weights. Everything hurts because I'm working a different set of muscle groups. And so then slowly that kind of, And then it's been difficult getting back into a consistent routine. I've been consistent recently, and but then I slipped. So it's one of those things that my recent I don't think I told you this, Bruno. Chris knows. Now everybody's gonna know. My recent discovery was that I have and I thought I had gallbladder issue, but it turns out I have a fatty liver.
Oh, that
can be. I've done a little bit of a little bit of research. I'm trying to be careful not to get too caught up in all the extra of it, because I'm trying to counteract the effects of it by just being a little bit more pragmatic with my approach to eating, doing some more fasting, re-entering vegetables into my diet more consistently, and cutting out red meat to a degree. And because it
sounds like you're doing something though, which is good.
Yeah. I'm trying to do it without being panicky about it. I went through my panicky phase initially, because I was like, what is wrong with and so then there'd be days, especially after I adjusted my diet, where I'd still feel like the discomfort from the fatty liver. I'm like, I'm doing stuff, like what am I'm doing the right thing. Why am I feeling and I think it's just, it takes time to reverse the effects of it. So it's going to be,
dude, what you're feeling is 30 years or 40 years, whatever, of whatever you've been doing. So you can't expect to just change from one day to the next and then everything's good.
Right. Yeah. Well, and it's really more just a couple years of shitty discipline, but because I was in a lot better shape at one point in time. And then all of a sudden, like this last year, I started noticing it was harder to get weight off, harder to keep it off. And one of the side effects to a fatty liver is your metabolism, like, basically checks out. It's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
So you have to actually do the work for it. Yeah.
And eliminators.
Damn.
So that's where I'm at now. But the hope is within the next 6 to 8 months to have some headway and make some progress on it.
Just keep at it, man. Just keep at it. You have to you have to change who you are, I feel like, because if you when I think we had this conversation previously, which is like when people go on diets, they're like, oh, I'm going to diet for a year, and they lose the weight, but then they go back to their old selves and just gain the weight back, or, substitute weight loss with any kind of habit. And you just have to become a whole different person if you want to maintain.
Essentially, because this is why this is how I got back into the position that I'm in, is by slipping back into old, previously bad habits. And so the trick is going to be remaining consistent with what I'm doing, and being patient and not looking for that instant gratification.
Yeah. Get it, bro.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Sending some good vibes your way, bro. Some strong vibes.
Thanks.
It's the sticking to it that takes it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I had that, and I'm not I can't sit here and blame hockey and be like, hockey's the reason I fucked up. Hockey was one of the many reasons I fucked up.
It's just another contributor.
It was just, I mean, I could blame doing the podcast for part of it too, because it's like I'll afford time to do this or get ready for this when I could be doing other healthy things, like cooking a healthy meal or doing whatever. And when I'm in better
brain
shape,
exercise.
Yeah, when I'm in better shape and when I'm doing more healthy stuff, the time that I have available to myself seems to increase exponentially.
Oh wow!
It's just I think you manage your time differently and better.
Your brain works better.
You were basically, I remember when I was in better shape, I was basically forecasting everything I was going to do for the day. and not getting caught up in the I don't want to do that kind of mentality. Just like, okay, I'm going to do this. This is going to take me 40 minutes. Then I'm onto this. Then I'm onto and I'm typically pretty organized anyway, so I can kind of still do that. But when I'm in better shape or at my peak, I can definitely do all of that a lot better.
That's good, man.
I don't cast things aside. I'm not like usually right now, like the one thing that suffers is the exercise piece of it, which has to not suffer.
Right. Which could, but
you just have to
uncomfortable piece of it too.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like it's just easier to sit on my ass and do nothing than it is to. Also, I tried a big cup today, a Reese's Big Cup.
Oh.
With potato chip in it.
What?
How was that?
Nah.
Why?
Because they were on sale. They were at Walgreens. No, I mean,
I get it.
So I was like, okay, well, yeah, let's try this. And it's like, it's basically like, hey, did you ever wonder what a Reese's Big Cup tasted like with gravel in it? Because it doesn't taste like a potato chip in the Reese's Big Cup. You can't taste like the Reese's Big Cup has enough salt in it.
Yeah.
That the salt in the chip doesn't do it. Like, so you're just basically eating a Reese's with more texture, more crunchy texture. I mean, it's fine, but it's not.
I mean, I think what you were saying before though is huge, and it's something that I've kind of been doing too recently, which is like you kind of just schedule, you plan out your schedule. Like, I'm going to do this for these 40 minutes, and then I'm going to do this for an hour, and then I'm going to do that, then I'm going to do the other thing, and you just have to stick to it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you want to add exercise to your schedule, you just have to plan it in.
Yeah.
You put it in there somewhere.
You say I'm doing it this
exactly.
Day.
I'm doing it this day at this time, and you stick to it and you do it. And like I've been doing that recently. Is I got done on what I was working on last Monday, so now now I have some downtime, and this is the time I get to focus on my own projects and my own work and all that stuff. And if I don't plan out my day, I kind of just lollygag around and waste a lot of time. Cause like I'll have like 6 or 7 things, like, oh, I have to work on one of these 6 or 7 things. But then I'm just like, I don't choose, and I just browse the internet and, wasting time. So what I've noticed helps is the day before, I just go, okay, at this time, I'm going to do this. Then at this time, I'm going to do this. And then at this time, I'm going to work on this thing. And I just try to stick to it as much as possible.
You have to give yourself deadlines to hold yourself accountable to.
Absolutely.
And the other thing that I've noticed helped me to a degree was having other people involved that I could
hold you accountable.
That could hold me accountable, and not necessarily in doing it with me necessarily, but being there to be there for when I'm sitting there getting on my soapbox about how awesome I am because now I'm exercising. Because you get this little fucking jolt.
Yeah.
Just like going to a movie. But you feel like after you've exercised, you feel this little excitement because you're like, hey, I just exercised. So I've done it to Chris and Ron. I'll be like, doing this today. And it helps because it helps motivate you for the next day. Because it's like, then all of a sudden, if I'm quiet, then in my head, I'm thinking, oh, they're wondering why I haven't given them an update.
No, dude, absolutely. And just like, if you create like a sort of to-do list, or like you plan out your day, like I was saying, just the fact of you crossing it out, like, yo, I did this. It feels good. You're like, I kept to my word. I did it. I finished it. Boom.
Well, you go to bed with a complete feeling like you've got, okay, I got dinner done. I got the dishes cleaned up. I got a workout in today. I got the kids to school. I got, did all these things. And usually all of that is very satisfying, especially when you can accomplish them all and exercise is factored in. But what I noticed myself what ended up happening was exercise became the one piece that I kind of was like, I'll put that aside. It doesn't, and where it's also been the opposite of that, where I'll be like, I'll give up other things that I care about to make sure to force myself to exercise. So I've been in the opposite position on that as well. But
I've been trying to, like, the next thing I'm going to try to toy with is rewards, right? Kind of reward myself for doing different things.
Yeah.
So, and it doesn't have to be like anything huge. You know, obviously, if you want to just work out for the one day, you're not going to go out and buy a $1,000 laptop as a reward, right? That'd be dumb.
Like, you don't get the hookers and blow just because
you
can push-ups.
Right, exactly. But, you know, maybe it's like, okay, if I do an hour of workout today, I'll allow myself to have a cookie after dinner, or, you know what I mean? Just something small. And if you don't do it, then you don't get the reward. You don't, you know?
And you have to be consistent on denying yourself those things.
Yeah.
Because
at the same time, right, at the same time, you're training your mind to associate the activity with something good. Right. Because, like, for example, in the case of, you know, we're using exercising right now. So let's just run with that. You know, most people, they don't like exercising. It's a hassle. It's painful. It's boring.
It's why it's the number one New Year's resolution.
Right.
And New Year's is such a shitty time of year anyway. Like, I'm going to get back in shape, but you can't run outside right now.
Right.
You'll fall down and hurt yourself for like 6-7 months worth of damage. Because it's icy out there right now.
It's the best time to invest in gyms is January and February.
Yeah. Go buy stock in Snap Fitness right
Exactly. Now. So, you know, your mind has this bad association with the activity, and you have to reprogram your mind to associate it with something good, something positive. And if you reward yourself or you have good associations, it'll change the way your mind thinks, and you're like, oh, I want to, you know what I mean? I want to exercise. I fucking hate reading. Do not like it. But the knowledge that I know I'm going to get, just knowing that I'm going to know something new that can potentially take me to the next level, that makes me want to read. And I'm just like, fuck yes, I'm going to read. I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to be a better person.
20 pages right now.
That's what it is. It's exactly. And it's just like reprogramming your brain to associate something positive to the action.
I heard some dude, I think it was a graduation speech. And he said, my dad always told me that anything worth doing is worth doing 10%. And it seemed kind of like one of those
backwards,
like, oh, what do you mean worth doing 10%? And then he's like, you know, you set these goals that are just totally unrealistic. Like, every day I'm going to do 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and I'm going to run 10 kilometers. Every day I'm going to do that because I'm going to get my exercise in. And then, but then you make these unrealistic goals and you start to do them, and then you just don't meet them. But if you go into them with the idea, like, I'm going to get at least 10% of that done.
Oh, yeah.
Slowly you can start chipping away.
You're like, okay, so I did 10% of that. That's 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups.
Yeah, why can't I do 11?
Exactly. You start with that 10% in mind, and then you're like, okay, well, I can do, 5 more. And doing 10 push-ups, I used the push-ups as an example because it's a thing. It was pull-ups, I think, that I did it with initially back before I had my shoulder surgery, and then I just kind of stopped doing them because I got out of the habit. But, you do those 10 push-ups, and then you're like, oh, 10 was easy. I'll do 5 more. And then as you get up to 15, and then, after a couple of weeks, 15 becomes 20, 20 becomes 30, 30 becomes 60, 60 becomes 100. And you get to that point where you're doing them, and your 10% becomes 100% after a year or whenever, or however long, depending on what it is. And you start doing these 10% of things throughout the day, but you do them every day. And slowly 10% becomes 100%.
And it still doesn't take up much of your time.
Yeah.
Right? And so really that 10% is worth it. Even if it's 10% of the water that you're supposed to have every day, at least you're fighting off, because so many of our problems just come straight from dehydration.
Right.
I learned
that's
what
training. I had to get back into forcing myself to drink water.
Forced hydration is something they do in the military. And the first couple of days, weeks, for some people, it really sucks. You're pissing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You feel bloated. But then once your body gets to that point where you're hydrated all the time,
you're accustomed to it. You're like, God, I need the water.
So many aches and pains go away, and things that you don't realize are problems, they're gone, and everything is clearer.
Right, you're lubed up, basically.
Yeah.
Like, you're
whoa, everything's okay.
I mean,
dude, essentially, it's
half a gallon.
I've got a gallon
almost
one in my
every
house
day.
That the big deterrent for me filling it right now is just the weight at the water cooler to fill it up.
Yeah,
but
I only drink coffee and water for the most part now.
Oh, I read that coffee is good for people with the fatty liver. It like helps with and so like now it's like coffee all the time.
And
black coffee,
occasionally tea.
Yeah,
always black. But it's amazing how many calories you can cut out if you just stop drinking calories.
Oh, 100%, dude. Sodas are so bad.
Would drop if people would stop drinking calories, because it's hard to ingest more calories than you can deal with if you're not drinking any.
Well, and we got into a bad habit a long time ago of moving to diet soda.
Mm-hmm.
And 0 calories, but your body is still processing that wrong, and so you're actually still
insulin, and your body gets to be insulin resistant anyway, and then your body doesn't process things properly, and it still creates the fat.
Right.
It's crazy. All these things that people just don't know, and that I hate to say it, but I know because I try and cram as much information in my brain as I can.
Yeah.
And so I assume that everybody knows these things. And so I come from this place of, I know this. I think everybody knows this. It's one of those hard things that I never got over. And toddlers are that way. I've noticed with my daughter. She's the same way. She gets really mad if you don't know a thing that she knows, because she just assumes that everybody knows what Peppa Pig is. And she starts talking about these characters from things, or she knows a song, and she gets really upset if you don't understand what she's talking about. But must be a family trait, and I wonder if other people. No,
it's a kid. That's a kid thing, though. My kids did that to a point, and then it's like, listen, I don't know what you're talking about because I don't watch X, Y, Z or this or that, and so then they then the kids finally start to figure it out.
Yeah,
then they try to teach you everything, and you do know about half the shit they're trying to tell you. Like, no, I know. I'm not. I don't live in a fucking hole all day. I still see things. I know what TikTok is. I know, I know a thing or two about a thing or two. I don't know everything, and that some of that's by choice.
Yeah,
but
if there's something.
But I do have some exposure to things, and
I do have the internet,
right? And sometimes it baffles my kids how much I guess awake to what's going on in their lives I am.
Yeah, they do hit a point where they think you don't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
But I remember Alex was that way when he was younger too. He'd get really upset if I didn't know about a show that he was watching.
Yeah.
And it was probably maybe Space Goofs that I didn't know about. But there were a couple of things that he'd watch, and I didn't know anything about them, and he would get really upset about it. But occasionally I will be talking from a position where I assume that whatever it is that I'm talking about is common knowledge, and I'll forget that other people don't know these things, because who has as much time to read just random shit as I do?
Yeah, but I mean, even still, some things are just, kind of I feel like some stuff are basic, like cigarettes are bad for you.
Yeah.
Too much sugar is bad for you. Yeah, soda is bad for you. It's just you would
even
think that everybody knows that. I don't know.
Like I'll have moments where I'll just cough down candy like it's candy, but for the most part, I don't eat a lot of sugar. Just as it's become a habit because it's been drilled into my head that sugar is poison.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It is. Like,
well, and
so much of it it's just bad for you. And we grew
processed sugar. Processed sugar is bad for you.
The fructose in fruit is okay for you.
Exactly.
Lactose in milk is not so bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
But all of those toses and everything gets turned into sugar inside you eventually. But if it's pre-sugared, turned into sugar, it's probably not good for you. White sugar is awful for you.
The recent readjustment of my diet has definitely made me aware of some of the the other day I had some after cutting sugar way back, I had some what are they called, gumdrops or whatever, or the fucking sugary, the like dots rolled in sugar. And I had a few of those, and then I had a few more. But then after about a half hour, not a half hour of eating them, but after about a half hour, I started to feel like jittery and kind of upset, like an upset stomach. Like, like this doesn't feel right.
Yeah, but I'll have a soda every 2 weeks or so. Like if Alex and I go to the theater, I'll get a large soda and I'll drink that fucker all the way down, and I feel awful, but it tastes so good.
Yeah,
because I don't eat a lot of sugar, and so when I eat it, it's really, really, really good. It's like I understand why people get hooked on this shit.
Oh yeah. My next step is to cut the diet soda back out again. And we've done that before. I went years without, and then we do it again, and then we drink it again. It's like, why did I do this?
That aspartame cuts your potassium processing ability. Like it makes your body not take it in, so it causes brain damage. It's just awful. Like
it's an addiction, man.
Studies. Yeah, and it's super
Definitely
addictive.
An addiction.
Yeah,
I mean, sugar's an addiction, 100%. Caffeine is an addiction. You know, it's just not as bad as drugs or alcohol or something like that.
It doesn't have the immediate bad effects.
Right.
It's
exactly.
Like they're drawn out bad effects. It's like
absolutely.
Long term.
But they're still addictive.
It's gradual and unseen, things. So that's why you can. And some people just are able to, like, I know people that eat a ton of sugar and are fucking skinny as shit.
Yeah,
and
dude, me. I used to do.
Bodies will process anything.
Yeah,
I used to gobble up candy like it was nothing, man.
Yeah, and
I stopped. I had to
processing fast food.
I had to
like
stop.
I don't get the weird. Yeah. Like some people eat McDonald's and just shit themselves, and I can eat just about anything still, and I'm okay.
Yeah,
I don't end up, all day in the bathroom. It's just
same.
I've got that iron belly, but I ate a lot of awful stuff for a lot of years, so I guess it's trained. But I don't know. There's a lot of things that if you just cut them out, it takes a while, but your life's like slowly just gets better, and you're not sure why. Your thoughts get more even keeled, and
everything.
Yeah, I think that's a part of it too. When I talk about like the feeling like you have more time, more focus, like all of those things kind of play into each other. So like the focus dials in. So basically I like to manage my time now, but I'm better at it when I'm better as a whole, like just as a person, basically, when I'm managing myself.
If you look at that holistic view of everything, like, let's see look at how improving here makes everything else better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then when I specifically improve all of these little things in little ways, but all those little 10% that you work at,
dude,
everything
absolutely
better. And as you continually make everything better, it's just like an endless
chain reaction
of life being better.
Yeah.
And I mean, occasionally you have to cut out a big cancer. You have to figure that whatever that is in your life.
Mm-hmm.
But once
my biggest cancer is worrying about cancer.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's one of my drawbacks to staying consistent with trying to, like, to adopting a lifestyle change and sticking to it is I get that real depressed-ish, pessimistic attitude about things. Like, well, I'm just going to get cancer at some point anyway. What difference does it like?
Well, and that's a hard bog to crawl your way out of.
Well, I've got family that have died from cancer, family that's died suddenly from just unforeseen things. And so you get this real kind of disenchanted viewpoint, like worldview about all of that. Because you suddenly, like when I was 28, my mom died from cancer, from lung cancer. Now she smoked a lot. And so there were a lot of prevailing factors that played into that. But at the same time, it's like when I was 28, I was like, you know, I'm going to hang out with my mom for a long, long time. It was my thought process. And so it didn't really kind of like occur to me until after the fact that like everybody kind of sugarcoated a lot for me during that time, where it was like, you know, a lot more hope was put on the treatment process. Like I was kind of like more optimistic about things based on how it was conveyed to me, but the outlook was never good.
Right.
But my 28-year-old brain was like, we're going to beat this kind of thing, but also fuck cancer. But then after she died, it was like, just fuck cancer.
Yeah.
And so, but then I live in this constant, continual fear of it coming. And then like, that's why this fatty liver thing played such a fucking, like such a punch. And so then I'm like, could this develop into cancer? Yes, it could if I don't watch what I'm doing.
See, 28 was a big turning point for me too, because I'd gotten back from my first deployment, and by then, like most existential dread was gone. Like there's so many different ways that the universe could just kill us at any given second.
Yeah.
Like the galaxy could float through a cloud right now and wipe out everything we've ever known or seen with a telescope at any given second.
Yeah.
The sun could just have a bad day and fart.
And before I was
the four inner planets.
Before I was 28, I'd been in a couple bad car accidents that could have been life-ending, but it ended up surviving them. And so, and I'd already had some like the blood clotting issues that were inherited.
Right.
And I'll tell you something else, man. I don't know if you really believe in this stuff, but I'm a big believer in, you know, what you believe becomes reality. And the more you worry about it, the more I feel like you can end up inducing it on yourself. You know, it's kind of like, don't think of the pink elephant. What's the first thing you're going to think about? The pink elephant, you know? Yeah. So the more you worry about it, the more it's in your mind. And it's almost like you're manifesting it. So, dude, I'm kind of like Hudds. I'm just like, it's not that I don't expect anything to happen, but I just don't care.
You have to
I don't care.
You have to.
Exactly. If it happens, I'll deal with it then.
Understanding that I could die at any second. Because
exactly.
I really, really could.
Yeah.
And I think I go in and out of that mindset for sure. It's definitely, it got more difficult after my mom had died, and then my sister died like 4 years later.
Yeah.
And she was younger than me. And it was an undiagnosed blood clot.
You've had a Keanu Reeves run of it, man.
Yeah. It wasn't great. But, and then on my wife's side, she had lost like family to heart attacks and stuff like that in a relative, like one whole side of her family, like died in the span of like 4 years. And so,
dude, I think it's just, maintaining these healthy habits and just not even thinking about what could happen. When it happens, you deal with it then, Yeah. And quite frankly, it's like, people are always going to have problems. And I don't mean problems in the health sense, just in general. If you don't have problems, you're not living, right?
Right. No, yeah, I mean, we're putting out fires every day.
Absolutely. It's life.
Usually with urine.
Right.
It's just life is getting
dehydrated
comfortable.
Urine, so it stings.
Yeah, getting comfortable, being uncomfortable. That's life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I try and instill that in my kid because he just can't deal with being uncomfortable. And part of it is his mom.
Most people can't, though.
Spends so much time and energy just trying to make him comfortable. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, you have to be uncomfortable sometimes. He has a coat with a battery in it that he can turn on to warm himself up, which is great for emergency situations. But like, you have to be able to weather the cold sometimes, so that when you're in an adverse situation, you don't have comforts.
What if the battery goes out in an emergency situation? You're screwed now.
You need to be able to function mentally and be tough and resilient. And so, bully for being comfortable. That's great. But being comfortable is for like the shower and bed. Those are my comfortable spots. I want to be comfortable in my shower, and I want to be comfortable in my bed. The rest of the time, and this couch. But the rest of the time, like, you have to be uncomfortable sometimes to realize how great it is to be comfortable.
That's the other thing. You need the negative to appreciate the positives.
Like the Jason Lee sweet and sour speech from Vanilla Sky, when he's like, you have to have the sour to appreciate the sweet.
Yeah.
And that's great. And I don't know. I like that movie for the most part. Probably because Kurt Russell's in it.
It's been a long time since I've seen that.
I'm loving the direction this episode has gone on.
Yeah, we totally missed what we were actually going to talk about. But I think
we touched on almost everything.
We did.
Job of it. The infantilism of just the general populace.
Well, that I do want to touch on before we get out of here.
We can hit it.
But
was it the holiday entitlement thing?
Yeah, I'll try to kind of expand on my notion of it.
I'm gonna get some coffee.
A lot of these businesses around the holidays are like open up until the day before Christmas, and then immediately after. Like, I was out driving on the 24th and drove by the coffee stand, and there's cars backed up on either end, like 4 cars deep on either end. And everybody's always like, oh, it's not fair to these people that have to work on the holidays. We should da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, but we've created this fucking monster.
Exactly. We are the problem.
If you gave them a day off by not patronizing them on these days, then the business owners that are opening for these, or that are staying open for this, are going to take the message and be like, okay, there's no reason for us to be open on the 24th, 100%, because there's nobody patronizing. But because you decide that you need your fucking coffee on Christmas Eve and you can't handle doing it yourself for a few days, then those business owners are going to be like, well, I'm going to keep making that almighty dollar.
That's exactly it. If the money's coming in, I'm not going to close my business.
So we have to dictate the market. And it's, so instead of sitting here acting like we're so fucking pious by being like, oh, these poor people working, they should have the day off, then give them then you as the consumer have to give them the day off.
We don't realize how much power we actually have.
Yeah, it has to be a collective thing. But no, I can't do it. No, I gotta have my coffee on Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
exactly.
So go get a Keurig,
right?
Douchebag.
See, I cut all that. Like, I had to do one store run and didn't have to. I only did it because the store was open. But
otherwise, you wouldn't have gone.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, they're there, and like, I don't really feel sorry for them because
they're there anyway.
Themselves available.
And the other thing is they're not heroes for being there.
Right.
Like.
Right. You know, we got to quit worshiping the people for being there. It's the line of work they chose to do.
Right.
Or that they happen to have to do. I mean, my job requires things of me that that I'm not always happy about, but I have to do them if I want to keep my job and keep doing the things that I do. Like, my job affords me the ability to be able to sit out here, sit on my ass at night, and do nothing. So sometimes I got to make sacrifices for the big picture.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I feel we got to quit treating people like they're fucking gods on those holidays. And if we want to actually be human, give them those days off by not patronizing those businesses on those days.
Well, and the excuse of, well, it was open, so I went.
Right. Well, no, exactly. Go. Well, it was open, so I went.
Sales nil.
Don't go.
If sales are zero, they won't open again next year.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or you would hope.
And they don't even have to get to zero, quite honestly. They just have to get to a point where it's more
not
costly.
Feasible. Yeah, it's more costly to be
more
open.
Costly to be open than to be closed.
Right.
Because, as soon as you open the door, you have a minimum cost of
overhead
that hourly wage.
But it's fucking madness. You got when I saw the lines at the coffee stand, they're wrapped around the fucking, and it's just like any other day. So nobody's taking it into account that, it's Christmas Eve. Maybe I should not hit the coffee stand today, or not do my last minute bullshit at Rosars or A&B. I drove by both those places on Christmas Eve, and they were fucking madhouses.
Yeah.
And why? You can't get this done ahead of time?
You can't do without your cranberry sauce,
right?
Or your candied yams today.
Well, and why does everything have to be last minute for you?
You couldn't have got it Tuesday when it was just a normal day,
right?
You got to go in there on Saturday.
You needed to do this. You knew ahead of time.
Wait, they didn't know that Christmas was. Did they only find out about Christmas the day before?
Right.
Yeah, it's like, and not to.
It happens every year on the same day.
We'll have an event planned, and somebody will bitch that they weren't told, but the event was planned for 6 months. We had it on the calendar 6 months out. Somebody called up, rented the lodge space, and said there were going to be 300 people in the party. And, as the manager of the bar, you didn't know that you were going to need a little help.
Yeah, exactly.
320 people. Oh, okay.
Or
that you might need to come in an hour early to get set up. Okay. Yep. Maybe you shouldn't be the bar manager.
Right. Yep.
Ass pipe.
So it's that coupled with and it's really the entitled attitude that a lot of people have anymore.
Right.
I'm entitled in that I think that everybody should fucking quit being entitled.
Meta, very meta.
Right. No, but all I'm saying is
well, it's really
people are going to look at me and be like, "Oh, dude, just get off your fucking high horse,
you fucking middle-aged
you stupid piece of shit. You don't even know." But then there's people.
You don't even know how much I needed that quad shot latte.
Yeah, well,
I needed it to get through my day. Right. You don't know how hard it is to deal with my mother-in-law.
You stupid piece of shit. Well, yeah, the Lewiston Tribune today. Sound off. How would you rate people's ability to drive in the snow in your community? 86 comments. I didn't read a single one, but everybody that commented, I'm sure, is a fucking expert driver.
Oh, yeah. There's 4 expert drivers in town, and they're all police officers. I guarantee it. I'm a halfway decent driver, but I'm nowhere near an expert. I was at one time, but not anymore.
Wait, what do you mean?
Huh?
Why were you at one point and not anymore?
Because I don't do that anymore. I don't drive nearly enough anymore to keep that skill maintained.
Well, but I mean, you can still drive defensively and have
but to be
and make practical decisions
driver,
on the road. Right,
it's a perishable skill. No, I went through the EVOC course at the police academy, and I did all the master driver stuff in the Army, and so I don't know, if it had wheels I could drive it for a while, but shit, you drive a compact car for 10 years, you lose most of the skills. Well, especially these cars now. Hell, it tells you if you need to change, or if you're drifting out of your lane.
It tells you everything.
Jesus.
It's
and the
insane.
traction control is awesome. awesome.
Daily Fly had that article where there was a fire that got put out, and then this one gal, Tammy, had the nerve to be like, took the fire department long enough we could see it from our house.
Is it like 2 M's and an IE?
No. Might as well be though.
MMY?
Yeah. But yeah. Why MMY would you need to say took the fire department long enough? What does that accomplish? But trigger everyone.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is.
It's like, have a good week. So that's why I posted that in our chat. Like, have a good week, Tammy, because you're fucked.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. Because all it was people commenting on, these are volunteers. Why don't you do it, Tammy? It's like, well.
Yeah. Well, all these people
she ignited the fire.
Yeah.
They want to be taken care of by the state in whatever form that takes. But then they also don't want to be told what to do. I want to do what I want to do all the time. I want to live my best life and be myself and live my truth. But they also want to be sheltered and taken care of and comfortable. They want to be comfortable. God forbid you make them feel uncomfortable at any given time.
Right.
You say anything or do anything that makes them feel like they're at all discomfort, any sort of discomfiture, and it's, oh God, oh, you're the devil. You are the devil. However that registers in your world.
Discomfort, the theme of this episode.
Absolutely. And I don't quite understand why being uncomfortable has become so bad. There was a lady talking the other day about how you can't say handicapped anymore because it gives her bad pictures in her head. I was like, well, what do you call those parking spots now? They're handicapped parking spots. Well, no, they need to be called learning disabled. I was like, no, they don't.
Learning disabled?
Because those are for crippled people. You can't say crippled. You can't say crippled. Crippled is a bad word. It means their legs don't work, and that's why they get
that's what it is.
That's why they get to park there. Asshole.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can't call me an asshole. I can call you whatever the fuck I want.
People getting butthurt.
Whatever I want. It's magical. And you know what? There's nothing you can do about it. You can file a complaint, but then what?
And it's not, and for me, it's not even like the Constitution that protects my rights. It's just like it being a person.
My rights.
It's just
tells me like I can can't infringe upon my rights.
Right. It's basically, I don't know. I feel like a person ought to be able to say and do whatever they want. Sure, there's some social.
Well, there's a social
contracts that you make with people and how you conduct and how you choose to conduct yourself.
I don't run into a kindergarten and start yelling cocksucker.
Right.
But
right.
Like there's some decorum that should be upheld.
Right.
I probably shouldn't even be saying cocksucker on this program. And I've done a pretty good job of not saying it up until this point, considering my history of language.
But a person ought to be able to say what they want to say and hold themselves to their own set of whatever their version of that decorum is. Now, if you're part of an organization like the Elks, then of course you want to adhere to whatever the bylaws are.
Right. I try not
for
to say
an organization.
When I'm at the lodge.
Right.
And I definitely don't say cunt or cocksucker while I'm at the lodge. I really try my best not to swear much at all. I'll occasionally say shit just because it comes out.
Right.
But I swear a lot.
I do too.
Oh, I swear a lot. I swear an awful lot. When I worked as a restaurant manager, I kind of trained myself to not swear as much because I wouldn't swear at work. And so my swears got replaced by things like, oh goodness, oh my, and things like, yeah. And I throw in replacement words. That and the fact that I didn't work Sundays just because it was a slower day of the week, but I took Sundays off. Most of the employees that I worked with thought I was Mormon. It was also coupled with that a lot of the people I employed were Mormon, just by the fact that they happened to be Mormon.
Transplants from Southern Idaho.
Yeah, transplants from or Northern Utah. But yeah, they were coming to Moscow, Idaho to go to school. And so a lot of the people there were Mormon. And so I wasn't hiring Mormons intentionally, but they were applying for work, and a lot of them are actually
they're decent workers.
They're good workers. They work hard.
Not to profile people,
right?
But
and so, yeah, there was what they're like, "You're Mormon, right?" I'm like, "No." not that I find a problem with it. I just
no,
it's
not
my cup of Joe Smith.
Right. But yeah, so I mean, I could go on all day about the entitlement shit, but we need to start shutting down more, especially around the holidays, especially if we want to have some amount of consistent normalcy across the board, and if we want everybody to be treated fairly and equally, give these people the 3 days off or whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, just don't patronize those businesses.
Right.
Then instead of bitching about it, just don't go.
My buddy owns a pretty popular coffee shop nearby, and he closed down for the whole week. I was
props
in my mind. I was like,
that's awesome.
That's what I said. I was like, dude, God bless you, man. That's pretty ballsy to do. And he's paying his employees. He closed down the shop and he's paying his employees.
Good for him.
That's amazing. That's what I think
it's crazy
should happen more than
what's our new comment?
The other.
It's spam.
Oh yeah. Sister 19 lol online.
Cool.
Thanks, E-Rop. Yeah.
Make sure to smash that subscribe button.
Yeah.
All subscribers count.
It always makes me feel good when we get the spam, because at least it's somebody.
Yeah.
You know what though? It's hitting someone's radar.
It is
hitting someone's radar.
If we're getting spam, we're getting something.
We're talking to the bots.
All right. Well, we better get out of here. We're a little over 2 hours at this point.
That's all right. It's been a good
real
show of the year.
Yeah.
Thanks
for joining us, Bruno.
Thank you for having me once again. This was probably my favorite episode so far.
So
I loved our conversation today.
Do you have any big New Year's plans? Are you
going
to town and watch the balls drop?
No, well, New York is only allowing a fraction of what they allow typically. For the ball drop. And no, we're sticking around. We're having some friends over. And that's it. Low key.
Yeah.
I'm not very big on holidays, honestly. I'm
not either, but New Year's has always been a favorite.
At the point of my life where I'm at, I'm just whatever about holidays. They're just regular days for me.
For me, they just add to the redundancy of it's a repetitious cycle. I got to dig out the Christmas stuff my daughter.
I'm an absolute bum hugger.
Daughter loves it, and so I feel bad for not being as energetic about it.
I was into it as a kid,
and I try to up it because you go through these phases because you want to provide the same environment for your kid. So when I remember you lose some of the magic goes away especially if you have that Santa Claus belief. Once Santa Claus goes away, then some of the magic kind of goes away as a kid, and so then it just becomes more of a mundane routine process.
Yeah.
You kind of slough out to the living room to open your presents. Oh, thanks, socks and some pajamas, and one cool thing that I wanted. And then you become a young adult, and then it's like you get some money of your own. And for me, growing up in the early 2000s, or DVD players and things like that, and furnishing our apartment and doing things like that were exciting. And buying decor, I bought my parents a DVD player for Christmas one year, and I felt like I was fucking God. So you get excited about doing those kind of Christmas gifts, and then eventually, then it becomes this challenge each year to best the year before somehow, whatever that may be. So you got to go on a fucking present hunt, and it's gradually gotten less and less.
Trying to one up yourself with gifts, it's the worst.
Yeah,
and I'll be honest, I'm not even really a gift person. I'm not, because here's Here's the way I'm very practical about how I think about things. So this is how I think about gifts. It's like, I'm going to spend X amount of money
just
on
keep
you.
your money. Keep your money.
Exactly.
Let's just,
dude, just
keep your money.
Like, just buy your own gifts and say
right.
they were from me. And I'm going to buy something for myself and say it was from you. And that's it. Let's just get a drink together, hang out, enjoy our company, and call it a day.
One of the craziest exchanges was my wife's Italian family when I was over at their house, and they're just handing around envelopes full of $100 bills. And it's like,
what's the point? What's the point?
You don't feel better now?
It's like, I'm going to give out
crisper.
$500, but I'm going to receive $500.
Right.
What was the point of it then? You end up in the same place.
Right. And if there's if the dad's giving extra $100, just give him the $100. Yeah. Give your kid the $100.
Just give me the $100 and we'll call it good.
Yeah.
Instead of everybody passing around, because that's just dangerous, having all that cash around.
Yeah.
And then you have to explain it to the IRS. Like, no, it was an Italian
the IRS.
Sorry.
So apparently,
up your ass.
someone posted this today, and I thought it was kind of funny. Apparently, the IRS website has a place where it says you have to declare money made on illegal activities.
Yeah, you can.
Dude,
they claim you can't be prosecuted for it, but
that's hilarious.
It seems like if you're going to be like, these are ill-gotten gains and I'm declaring
them.
It's like,
exactly.
well, you have apparently on your tax forms from last year, you say you have 1.2 million in ill-gotten gains.
In cocaine sale?
You can't arrest me.
I declared the money.
I was trafficking people. It was great. That was my Epstein money. He didn't kill himself, by
the way. Oh man.
Fuck.
Well, this has been a great episode to close out the year with.
It's been a weird year. Let's hope.
Well, listeners, it won't matter to the listeners that's picking this one up because the others will have posted, but I've been slow posting episodes. So I'm sitting on a couple right now. So there'll be 2021 episodes that are posting into 2022.
Oh.
But it's because I'm just so right now.
Oh, so when we throw down
so busy
spoilers, it's not that big a deal.
Right. Yeah. More people will have seen it by then on the audio for the audio version.
The only person spoiled.
I mean, the episodes are on the YouTube, but when the audio releases, I just haven't had the energy I really need a intern that can slap together the episode with
throw up a Craigslist ad. Find some high schooler who's into audio.
I have a high schooler, but he's just not into helping dad.
Take up
but yeah, I need to find somebody that wants to do something in that realm so that I can take some of the hassle.
Training in exchange for time.
I could show them how to do it. It's not that hard to do, but it's hard for me to sit and re-listen.
Yeah.
To a show that I was part of. And sometimes it's fun, but sometimes it's like I want to watch something or listen to something else.
Yeah.
And
I've listened to like 3 of these. I feel like a dick.
And I enjoy there's some that I really, and I know if I went back and re-listened to several, I'd really enjoy them. But when it's so close to having happened,
oh yeah,
it's like that's too fresh. I need to have some distance between myself and it. So then it starts to become a chore, or I'll get into it and it's just, but it pulls me away because I have to sit and take notes as I'm listening because I got to be like, okay, we talked about this, we talked about that.
Yeah.
And it's hard when you're doing the show. Ideally an intern to take notes during the show would be the best.
Yeah.
Someone that's actually listening and taking notes during the show.
You leave a couple of time hacks.
Right. And you catch your timestamps for certain things so that you could go through and do clipping as well.
See, I should just keep a notepad next to me and I was funny here. No, I was funny here. Here I was funny. Here, yeah, because I'm the only one that matters in my mind.
So yeah, that's that's why episodes are slow getting up on the feed, and it'll pick up here after. And it's been busy around the holidays, so it's been hard to kind of get, to force myself to sit down and focus on it, because I've been working a lot of overtime too, and trying to have that work life balance, fatty liver, dealing with that. So there's all sorts of things, but Bruno, thanks again.
Thank you.
I'll tell you Happy New Year in the chat in a couple days.
Yes, sir.
Happy New Year. I'm super grateful to have made you as a friend, Bruno.
I feel the same.
Thanksgiving was last.
It's been quite the trajectory.
Hey. Yeah.
You can't be great. You can't show gratitude any month but November.
That's fundamentally not true.
I know. It's absolutely shouldn't even be try to be true.
Right.
You should show
we
gratitude.
should do things all year. Like that's okay. I'm gonna get off into the fucking weeds again about the cyclical nature of holidays. I went Valentine's shit's already out.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Oh, jeez.
I was at Walgreens today. Valentine's shit's already out. Fuck you.
I've been trying to find somebody to put a shamrock on my balls. Get a shamrock tattoo right on the backside of my testicles. Nobody's doing
so
it.
Aggravating.
Nobody's giving out testicle tattoos anymore.
We need to build a compound, guys. I think, and get out there and.
I know. South side of
nothing nefarious. I don't want to start any kind of genocide or anything like that.
We're not Branchley Davidian anymore. We're just.
I just want to get away from people.
I just want to have an acre on each side of me.
Yeah.
Where there's.
I want you as a neighbor,
isolation.
But I also want to be able to go isolate a little bit.
Yeah.
But still hang out.
I want to have a tiny house.
Yeah.
All to myself, out in the woods. A tiny house for my kid. And a tiny
close,
house for the other kid.
but just far enough.
Yep.
Just a little cluster of tiny houses.
Close enough to to civilization to stay connected to the effect that I can. Yeah,
have a little room with a Starlink uplink.
All right. Thank you, Bruno. We're ending this like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
5 endings.
All right. Thanks again, guys. Talk to you later.
Good night.
Adios.